Thanks for checking out my channel. I'm John Stark from AmericanMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of Grimcutty. It is spooky season, and Hulu's got spooky releases for you. I guess, depending on how you feel about this film. I'm a blind film critic, so, yeah. Horror films I need an audio description for, and this one has excellent audio description, courtesy of Point360, a company I feel like I've heard them do narration once or twice before. They're not, I wouldn't call them one of the heavy hitters, but they did a good job here. And Mr. Roy Samuelson on the narration. I was like, I think that's Roy's voice. And I was like waiting for the end of the movie for validation. I was like, yep, okay. So yeah, it has great horror narration to it. Very creepy. It lets you know, because there's Grimcutty, who's this creepy entity when he's able to be seen. This is a little like It Follows, in that sometimes only the affected person can see Grimcutty and not everyone around them. So it's one of those films. So it has to narrate that experience for you, for anybody who has seen It Follows. If you haven't seen It Follows, please see it, because it's now turning into like a whole thing. I've heard Smile is a lot like It Follows. Like everybody is just doing like their version of, you know, there's a horrifying thing that only one person can see, and it gets passed down somehow through some sort of curse. So yeah, Grimcutty is a film that's, I would say, not doing well on IMDb, and critics aren't bothering to review it because technically I noticed that Hulu has it as a TVMA. So they didn't even bother to submit this to the MPAA. This is all Hulu's fault. So that it has such little reception. They were like, this is shit, so we'll treat it like shit. I didn't think it was shit. I didn't. I really did not. It's not great. It's not perfect. But considering I saw this after I saw Halloween Ends, I was like, oh, hey, here's a film that has something going on. It's a film with some thoughts and some ideas, and it's legitimately creepy. I was never scared in Halloween Ends. There are a couple times here where I'm like, oh my god, what's going on here? And it does a good job of building tension, which yeah, other films don't always do a good job of doing. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that. No one's gonna remember this film, apparently. It's just gonna be a blip on Hulu's radar, but I would say people maybe should check it out more than some of the other films that we've been checking out. There are some theatrical releases this year that were not very good, but this is better than that. I know it stars Shannon Sossaman, which says a lot about the film. When she's literally the biggest star in the movie. I know that just pretty much answers all of your questions as to, you know, who's in, Shannon Sossaman. I was wondering what she's been doing since the last movie I saw her in 20 years ago. Like, I can't even remember what the last thing was I saw her in. I'm just like, have I seen her since the early 2000s? What has she been doing? Anyway, this film is about an internet meme come to life, which makes it really easy to make fun of. It's the film that the world wants to make fun of. Like, inherently, when you've chosen this path, you've chosen a film. It's like Ouija. Like, when people decided to make a scary film out of Ouija, you really have to hit a home run. You really have to go for it, and Ouija just didn't go for it. Grimcutty kind of goes for it, but it makes choices that I wouldn't make. Maybe some of these will be a little spoilery for you, but not really. I don't think so. I mean, like, thematically, but so we're shown at the beginning how Grimcutty affects one family. And it's this weird thing where this kid's really upset, and he ends up doing something that shocking, and they blame, it's this internet meme, and then we cut to this other family and this girl and how the internet meme is affecting her life. And this feels like the kind of film that would normally affect a group of teenagers. I think that's maybe where the film kind of zigzagged, is usually when we see a film like this, it has a style like Final Destination or Truth or Dare, where you sort of see a group of teenagers and they're slowly being picked off one by one by this internet meme. And they're trying to figure out the rules, and they're trying to figure out how to stop it. But this is kind of just like one girl trying to figure out how to stop it and what this thing is. And also trying, like, her parents don't really believe her, so she's trying to make herself sound sane. But at the same time, every time Grimcutty shows up, she's just like freaking out because he sounds super scary from the audio description. He sounds creepy as shit. And usually when he approaches with a knife and cuts her. But what it ends up looking like is that she somehow cut herself because nobody can see Grimcutty. So it looks like she's cutting herself because of an internet meme. There's some cooler things that the film does towards the end. I will say that involve sort of answering to the people who can't see Grimcutty. Like, oh shit, they might be right. Maybe Grimcutty is a real thing. So he's not just in their heads. I'm not gonna spoil that part, but yeah, there's some stuff where finally, like, the parents get to see some stuff that they can't unsee, and they're like, oh, so you're not lying. Okay. Damn. I just thought you were crazy. But yeah, so the whole town starts getting in a fervor over this meme that's been shared. And because I guess other kids are cutting themselves. But instead of those kids being a part of the story and being like maybe a part of her friend's circle and maneuvering through it, they're just sort of other kids. And there are like references to how parents don't have to send their kids to school. It's like optional right now. And one time she goes to school and they're having like an assembly from some dude who's being super goofy and trying to, like, I don't know, I guess the school thinks they're all depressed and that's why they're cutting themselves. I have no idea what they think. Anyway, it's a weird film because it feels like the film that should be a group of teenagers instead of just one teen who is, like, pursuing this on her own. And she does interact with other teens. And some of them don't really seem to be affected by Grimcutty, but they all technically should be, based on the rules of the film. This is why I think people are getting confused and bombing the film, is because it feels like the kind of thing... There was actually a part in the movie where I legitimately thought the film was going to go hard. I was like, oh my god, this could be really fucking cool. And the film went nowhere with it. They were having a Grimcutty party, and they had all these kids in one place. And, like, technically they should all be haunted by Grimcutty, right? Like, they meet all the criteria. Their parents are probably in hysteria about Grimcutty, except for the rich kid who is, like, the exception to the rule of that part, because his parents are never around. He's like, no, they're always somewhere internationally. They work internationally, and they're never here, and I just live in this house. Big mansion by myself. He's that stereotypical rich kid that has no parents. So I could see maybe where he would dodge the Grimcutty thing, because his parents would be like, Grimcutty? I don't have time for that. But there's like this whole party, and they have the opportunity to do something really cool, like, where he goes after like a group of people, but he doesn't. He's still just... It follows his way through the film, following the one girl. But then he breaks tradition, and then he follows somebody else close to her. And it's like, what are the rules in this film? I want to like this film. It legitimately is creepy at times. There's a backstory. There's some stuff happening. There are some cool ideas being thrown in here. But at the same time, I kind of understand why this film has a little bit of a shitty approach on IMDb. It's like a 4.4 right now, which is pretty low for IMDb. This would be the IMDb community saying not good. But I just think it's a little bit better than that. But it is problematic. They have like a hospital scene where there's like no one around, and I'm like, where? I hate scenes like this. I hate when they're like in a place where there should be like hundreds of people, and then like stuff is happening in areas of that place, but no one is around. Like no one except for like the characters necessary for this, event are around. There's no just like nurse just like walking down the hallway with a cart who's like, what the fuck is that? Like nothing. It's just nothing. I even remember there was a part in the audio description where it's like she runs out into the empty parking lot, and I'm like, why is it empty? Like, what is happening? Where did everyone go? Anyway, so there's some times in this film where I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying. But at the same time, I do want to give this film a slight thumbs up. So, I am going to slightly recommend Grimcutty. I don't think it's that bad. I just think it needed a different director. This guy's done a lot of projects, which is really problematic for me. I haven't heard of any of them, which he should take note of. If you have that many credits and no one knows who you are, and this is your first time to maybe show the world what you're made of, take 5 more minutes and take a look at your script and see, does it make sense? If the answer is no, make it make sense and then direct the film. Don't just direct a film that doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna give Grimcutty a C+. Yeah. So that's Grimcutty for you. It's on Hulu. You can watch it if you're looking for something that is scary, because I think Grimcutty has moments, but it will frustrate the shit out of you at times. That's it. Don't just blow it off because it's about an internet meme. If we did that with every film that was like thematically about something stupid, we would never watch movies. We'd be like, oh, what's that film about? I don't know. It's about porn. Oh, that's stupid. I'm never gonna watch that. Like, it's just, yeah. Sometimes if somebody does something creative enough with it, the film can be pretty good. Think about Paranormal Activity. For those out there who saw that, that was a weird concept at first, but it worked. At least for most people, it worked. Anyway, I'm trying to get to 100 this year, so if you could subscribe, that would be great. If you stayed this long through the review, you might like me. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also go to my website, macthemovieguy.com, for more of my reviews. You can follow me on Twitter at macthemovieguy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what else has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the edna.org. And you can look up Roy Samuelson and see what else he's done. He's done a lot of projects. Great narrator. That's it for me right now. I gotta go review something else, but I will see you on the other side.